Good morning. Welcome to the Ahiah Center for Spiritual Living. What did I say? Center for Spiritual Living in Pasadena. Thank you for your patience while the technology angels helped us out. So this morning we will do a meditation together. I'm Kelly Metcalf, a licensed prayer practitioner here at the center. Honored and happy to be here with you. So we're going to do something a little bit different. It's from Gay Hendricks' book, The Big Leap, and it's about living our very best selves. So we're going to repeat a mantra, and here it is. Every day, I expand in love, success, and abundance. And as I do, I inspire those around me to do the same. So here it is again. Every day, I expand in love, in abundance, and in success. And as I do, I inspire those around me to do the same. Now you might think I'm retired or that doesn't go for me. Well, we all want success in our everyday life, whether it's finishing our book or writing our book or eating healthy or a spiritual practice. So when the mind thinks, just tell it, thinking, smile to yourself and go on. So here we go. If you're comfortable saying it out loud, go ahead and say it out loud. Let's first start with Om, 3 ohms, the universal sound of unity. So here we go with our mantra, and have a few deep breaths in between, and we'll say it together again. Every day, I expand in love, success, and abundance. As I do, I inspire those around me to do the same. Every day, I expand in love, success, and abundance. As I do, I inspire those around me to do the same. If you feel comfortable saying it out loud, go ahead. Every day, I expand in love, success, and abundance. As I do, I inspire those around me to do the same. Every day, I expand in love, success, and abundance. As I do, I inspire those around me to do the same. Every day, I expand in love, success, and abundance. As I do, I inspire those around me to do the same. Every day, I expand in love, success, and abundance. As I do, I inspire those around me to do the same. Every day, I expand in love, success, and abundance. As I do, I inspire those around me to do the same. Every day, I expand in love, success, and abundance. As I do, I inspire those around me to do the same. Every day, I expand in love, success, and abundance. And as I do, I inspire those around me to do the same. Every day, I expand in love, success, and abundance. As I do, I inspire those around me to do the same. Every day, I expand in love, success, and abundance. As I do, I inspire those around me to do the same. Every day, I expand in love, success, and abundance. As I do, I inspire those around me to do the same. Every day, I expand in love, success, and abundance. As I do, I inspire those around me to do the same. Amazing how fast time goes in meditation. So wiggle your toes and your fingers. Take some deep grounding breaths. And know that we are all here by divine appointment. And the divine is always expanding and expressing through us, uniquely, wonderfully, no matter what we've been taught. The truth is, we are all unique and magnificent. So I invite us all to embrace that truth, to live that truth, and expand every day in more and more love, more and more success, and more abundance. Namaste. Thank you for being here.
Good morning, everyone. It's so good to be here this morning with you. It's so good to be here in the middle of July. Isn't it amazing? We're in the middle of July. I've been having such a good week. I've come back from vacation last week, and last Sunday, I felt a little flustered, to be honest, because I'd just come back. But this week, I'm feeling right in the groove. So it's really good to be here, see everybody, to be in community. And so whether you're here in the sanctuary or you're here online, it is so nice to be with you today. And so we're going to go ahead and get this Sunday celebration I'd like to start off with our music ministry, and first and foremost, I'd like to say hello to our guest singers today. We have Connie Rouse and Karen. Let's say hello to them. And then, of course, we have our music director on the piano. That's Chris Glick over there, along with Leon on the bass. And Satoshi is not here, but he's in the audience there. So let's say hi to Satoshi for being on the drums. And then today we have somebody new in the back. If you guys that are here, you guys online can't do this, but if you guys are here, why don't you turn around and wave and say thank you to Sebastian. He's filling in for Harris. Harris has gone to teen camp. So he's supporting the North Hollywood Church in teen camp this week. So he'll be up there with our three teens, Naama, Perry, and Phoebe are all up at teen camp this week, and I am sure they are enjoying their time up there. And thank you so much again to the congregation for supporting them financially and being able to do that also. We will get a report back from them next week, so we'll get to hear all about their teen camp experience next week. So looking forward to that. And so I also want to say thank you to Sandra back there, and Jackie, and maybe even Dorothy, who are going to be doing our offering and the greeting. And our practitioner of the day is Kelly Metcalf. Let's say thank you. She did a wonderful, wonderful meditation this morning. If you weren't here, she led us in expanding our consciousness around love, abundance, and success. Yeah. And we can all use that reminder of that in our life. So thank you again, Kelly. She'll be up in just a little bit to do our reading and invocation. So with that, let's go ahead and get our Sunday celebration moving. And we're going to start with a meditation video by Gabriel. So it's going to be showing on our screen, and for those of you at home, on your screen. So I just invite you to take a nice deep breath in with me. And just let it go as we take a moment to go within.
Lying in my bed, I hear the clock tick and think of you. Caught up in circles, confusion is nothing new. Flashback, warm nights, almost left behind. Suitcase of memories, time after sometimes you picture me. I'm walking too far ahead. You're calling to me. I can't hear what you've said. Then you say, go slow. I fall behind. The second hand unwinds. If you're lost, you can look and you will find me. Time after time. If you fall, I will catch you. I'll be waiting. Time after time. After my picture fades and darkness has turned to gray, watching through windows, you're wondering if I'm okay. Secrets stolen from deep inside. The drum beats out of time. If you're lost, you can look and you will find me. Time after time. If you fall, I will catch you. I will be waiting. Time after time. If you're lost, you can look and you will find me. Time after time. If If you fall, I will catch you. I will be waiting, time after time, time after time, time after time, time after time, time after time.
Thank you, Gabriel, for that meditation video. And so now I will, before Kelly comes up, I'm going to actually light the peace candle in remembrance of peace in this world, which I think we really need to take some time and focus on right now. And last week I burned my thumb, so I got myself a new lighter this week. So we'll see how this goes. I haven't tried it on this candle yet, but I'm sure it'll be fine. So why don't you go ahead and join me? You know, it's a heavy topic, but it's also good for us to know that we can be in joy with this topic also. And so as we recognize the life and the power and the presence that God is, we recognize that life as the one life that is peace all the time, never ending, always expanding, always knowing itself as peace in our lives, in our world, in the universe. And so I just know that to be true, and I say, life and God are good and very good. Together we stay. And so it is. And now Kelly Metcalf.
Thank you, Reverend Scott. It seems appropriate to have the reading first after that beautiful prayer and meditation. Creative Minded Success by Ernest Holmes jumped off the shelf this week. How to attract friends. The person who has learned to love all people, no matter who they may be, will find plenty of people who will return that love. This is not mere sentiment and is more than a religious attitude of mine. It is a deep scientific fact, and one to which we should pay attention. The reason is this: all is mind, and as we attract to us what we first become, until we learn to love, we are not sending out love vibrations, and not until we send out love vibrations can we see love in return. One of the first things to do is to learn to love everybody. If you have not done this, begin to do so at once. There is always more good than bad in people, and seeing the good tends to bring it forth. Love is the greatest healing and drawing power on earth. It is the very reason for our being, and that explains why it is that people should have something or somebody to love. The life that is not loved is not lived. It is still dead. Love is the sole impulse for creation, and the person who does not have it as the greatest incentive of their life has never developed the real creative instinct. No one can swing out into the universal without love, for the whole universe is based upon it. When we find that we are without friends, the thing to do at once, to send our thought out to the whole world, send it full of love and affection. Know that this thought will meet the desires of some other person who is wanting the same thing, and in some way the two will be drawn together. Get over thinking that people are odd. That kind of thought will only produce misunderstanding and cause us to lose the friends we now have. Think of the whole world as your friend, but you must also be the friend of the whole world. In this way, and with this simple practice, you will draw to you so many friends that the time will be too short to enjoy them all. Refuse to see the negative side of anyone. Refuse to let yourself misunderstand or be misunderstood. Do not be morbid. Know that everyone wants you to have the best. Affirm this wherever you go, and then you will find things just as you wish them to be. So let's turn within. There is one divine presence, the infinite creator, the author of all life, this one that is all-knowing, all-wise, all-powerful, all the time. It always has been creating and expanding throughout all life, and it always will be. And so that includes right here in this very room. It includes within and as and through each one of us. No matter what we think about ourselves or what we've been taught about ourselves, we are still spirit expressing, unique and magnificent. Just like the lilies of the field, we are always provided for. We are always supported. So I claim for us this day to be citadels of peace, beacons of light, open-hearted, open-minded, loving souls. I claim that this time together in this service is for our greatest good and our greatest joy. The Reverends God and the musicians and those behind the scenes are all guided so that this is a most wonderful gathering of celebration of life, so that we all know more and more of that celebration and we take part in it. With a grateful heart, I simply let this be so. And together we can say, and so it is. Amen and amen.
Thank you, Kelly. And so now just go ahead and give everybody here, and if you're at home with somebody, you can give them a nice warm welcome. You could just do it from afar, just do a wave and everything, but it's wonderful to do that. And while we're welcoming each other, I'm going to ask Connie to come on up. Here she is.
All right, good morning, Ahiah. As usual, it is always wonderful to be here with you. I'm so glad to be here. And I am ever so grateful that I have my dear friend Karen here with me today.
Good morning, everyone.
It's been a while. She hasn't been here since this whole COVID thing started, so I'm really happy that she's here today. And we'd like to do a lovely little song for you that was made famous by the Jets. I'd gladly walk across the desert with no shoes upon my feet to share with you the last bite of bread I had to eat. I would swim out to save you in your sea of broken dreams. When all your hopes are sinking, let me show you what love means. Love can build a bridge between your heart and mine. Love can build a bridge. Don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time? I would whisper love so loudly every heart would understand that love and only love can join the tribes of men. I would give my heart's desire so that you might see. The first step is to realize that it all begins with you and me. Between your heart and mine, think it's time. And when we stand together, it's our finest hour. We can do anything, 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 anything. Keep believing in the power. Love can build a bridge between your heart and mine. Love can build a bridge. Don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time? Oh, yes, I do. Love can build a bridge. Love and only love and mine. Love can build a bridge. Don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time? Don't you think it's time? Love and only love.
Oh, thank you, Connie. Thank you, Karen. It sounds so much nicer to have that second, voice in there, harmonizing in the second line. So good to have you back, Karen. It really is. So, July's theme is choosing freedom together. And I've been thinking about this theme for a little while, and every time I think about it, I'm like, well, what does it mean to choose freedom together? Does it mean that we have to think alike, act alike? That we're all some hive mind, that we're choosing one way of being together? Well, I don't think that's true at all. I don't think it's true because when I look in nature, all I see is diversity. I see, that there's no two grains of sand on the beach that are the same. There's no two leaves on a tree that are the same. No two waves in the ocean. No two people who have the exact same fingerprints. Even if they're identical twins, they don't have the same fingerprints. And so I think that this world, this universe, has been created with diversity. To have us all be out there thinking something different, something unique, being that unique entity in life. Approaching life in our own individual ways, with our own culture and our own understanding of the divine, that we are supported in that. Now, on 4th of July, which was just last Monday, we were celebrating the Declaration of Independence, the signing back in 1776 of that very unique piece of paper, especially at that time. And one of the things that they said in there was that, all men are created equal. They are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. Among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And so, that's supposed to be a common understanding here in the United States. But what does it mean? What is liberty? What is freedom? What exactly does that mean? Well, I went to the dictionary because, I like the dictionary. And I pulled up the meaning of freedom. And that meaning of freedom is simply the power or right to act, speak, or think as one wants without hindrance or restraint. Without hindrance or restraint. That's where freedom is. That's what freedom is. And we teach in this philosophy that we are absolutely free in our relationship with Spirit. This oneness that life is. We know that because Spirit just says yes. There is no hindrance in Spirit. It doesn't look at our thoughts and our beliefs, the things that we are putting into it, and go, no, right? It doesn't do that. It just says yes. And so, we are completely free from that aspect to create into our life great good or great not so good. We have that choice ourselves, and Spirit has absolutely, given us that aspect of itself. And so the thing is that if we want to have that same freedom and truly show up in our lives, then we need to have the same relationship then with other people. Not just with Spirit. We need to have that same relationship generally with people, which means that according to this quote, we're not supposed to hinder or restrain other people. Wow. How do we do that? How do we live a life like that in a society filled with billions of people on this planet? Right? Almost 8 billion people. How do we live on a planet where there's 8 billion people who could do anything they want? Well, maybe we're not quite there as a society, as a people. And so, maybe we do need to have some agreements on what we're going to do and how we're going to be together. And I think that together we have to choose freedom together, right? That theme for this month, choose freedom together. That's so fundamental then in how we are together as human beings, choosing freedom together. So I wanted to kind of really get into the nuts and bolts of the we part of that. And so this week, the talk title is You and I Are We. You and I are we. And so last week, we really focused in on ourselves, right? Freedom as us, showing up in, as, and through us. But this week, I want to switch the focus to how do we show up as freedom when we're with other people, when we're we instead of I. And so you and I are we. And I want to start off with a quote from a man named, out of order. How about this one? We'll go to that one. His name is John, I think Don, maybe Donne. I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name, but he wrote a book, No Man is an Island. And in that book, he says, no man is an island, entire of itself. Every man is a piece of the continent, a part of the main. So in other words, we're not really separate. Our actions, are not taken on an island. What I do impacts people around me. Our thoughts and actions have consequences, in other words. And if we lived on an island all by ourselves, our thoughts and actions, maybe they wouldn't impact anybody. But, there's, I think, 12 million people in Los Angeles, a lot of people here. And so when we're in among all of these folks, our actions must have consequences to the people around us, our family, our friends, our neighbors, the people in our community. And so in this philosophy, what we tell you is we tell you that your word is powerful. And we also tell you things like, you're not a victim. Right? I say that all the time. You're not a victim, and it's true. You are a powerful creator, and therefore you're not a victim. And I tell you that you can take control of your life. Right? But how does that kind of be in all of this with all the people around us? What does it mean being, a powerful creator who's not a victim and can take control of our life when we're living with so many people around us? Well, one of the things, we lit a peace candle this morning because there's not peace in the world. And so we want to do what we can to support that peace. And one of the ways that we can support that peace, even though we're not going to do anything, we're not going to go over to Ukraine and do anything in particular over there, but we can be right here and we can affect what's going on in the world by knowing the truth of peace as us and through us. It will impact the world around us. But, when we say something like that, it doesn't mean that we're just this island out there, that we are knowing peace for ourselves and that's all we have to do. All we need to do is know more peace for ourselves, and then peace, everything else is taken care of. We don't have any actions, any activities, nothing to do in the world. That's not true either, right? So there's this balance in all of this of we need to know that we are powerful creators, that we create our lives, and we know that we can impact the world around us just with our thought. And it's not a but it's another and. And we can take action in the world. We can take action that supports all of these things. Because we live together, we breathe together, we are in community together. And so as long as that is true, we need to understand our impact, the impact of our actions. So, a world that works for everyone. You guys have heard that before, right? That's part of the vision statement for the Global Heart for Centers for Spiritual Living. It's one of the things that we truly believe is that, eventually humanity is going to find a path where there is no discord, and that the world will work for everyone at that time. So what can we do to help that along? Well, one of the things is to realize I am only truly free when all human beings around me are free. Right? I am truly, truly only free when everyone is free. And so, if that's going to be true, then in our beliefs and in our actions, our activities in life, we have to quit trying to tie people down. We have to quit trying to restrain them and constrain them. And how does that happen in our lives? Well, it's pretty, that's actually kind of, that understanding is kind of unnatural to humans, I think. It's not how we're taught originally in life. Maybe it can become natural to us eventually, but right now, what we are taught as children is that, sometimes the world can be a scary place. And what do we do when the world's a scary place? Well, I think the normal response in humanity right now is two options. One, run away. And the other is to control the heck out of everything in order that that doesn't happen again. Now, I don't know which one of the two camps, and maybe you even have a third camp or a fourth camp that you know of. But for me, those are the ones I've bumped into life the most. And for me, I chose very early on, to control the heck out of everything. Who joins me in that? Who's a control the heck out of everything person? Yeah, because we could be really effective in that, or at least think that we are. It takes a lot of energy and a lot of effort to control the heck out of everything. But, we can, when we do that, we can become control freaks. Yeah, I know. I was one of those. And it's still something I watch out for today, right? I keep an eye on what I'm doing, how I'm thinking, how I'm being with other people. And so, when we are a control freak, the way that looks is we want everybody to fit in the box that we have defined for them. Isn't that nice when it happens? It's so nice when everybody just conforms to what we want of them. But the truth is that that's not going to happen all the time. And then we have conflict. And then we lack our peace. And so, rather than expecting everyone to do things the way we do, especially children, right? Haven't you seen that in America, that has a tendency? That was definitely the culture from years ago. Children were seen but not heard, and they definitely were supposed to do whatever they were told, right? Not to have their own opinions, but to mimic the opinions of the parents. So those are some ways that we control people, that we put them in boxes. And when I'm doing that, I do that because I have this deep-rooted belief that I myself, can only be safe when people conform, when everybody conforms to what box I want them to be in. And when they don't conform, what society has been doing is, we lock them up. We put people in jail, in prison, on probation. And right now in America, 1 in 35 people, at this moment, 1 in 35 Americans is either in prison, in jail, or on probation. Seems like an awfully large number to me. It's millions of people. 1 in 35 adults in jail, in prison, or on probation. And for a lot of that, many of those people on the federal level are there for drug charges. Some of them only for using, themselves, not really impacting the people around them. So I think we have a long history of controlling other people, and when they don't, well, there's consequences. And those consequences basically mean that we are not allowing freedom to reign, really. We are not allowing liberty in the pursuit of happiness, and we are definitely impinging on people's freedom by restraining them and hindering them in what they're doing, what their choices are. So the approach that we've been taking is at the level of effect, right? Out there, somebody did something out there, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a consequence that lives out there also. So you guys know what I mean by being at the level of effect. We believe in cause, that the primary cause of things is actually by thought, right? What do we think? What do we believe? What do we feel? What are our intentions? That's what spirit is acting on in order to create our lives around us. What happens out here is just the effect of those causes. So if you want to change the effect, if you want more peace, what you need to do is, instead of effect, living down in the world of effect and trying to gauge everything there, you need to have some change in the cause. When we live at the level of effect, it's kind of, I used to have a friend who said, it's kind of like moving the chairs around on the Titanic, right? It's going to look like you're doing something, but that boat's still going down. And so, it makes us feel like we're doing something, but it's not really. And so what we want to do then is we want to change that up. We want to change to a place where, we are actually working on the cause. Now, some people, maybe we do need to work with them on changing what they believe, how they think. That at least would have some real effect, right? Putting people in prison, and that's the only thing we do, doesn't seem to be doing much for us, except for creating a huge number of people in prison. So how do we choose freedom together? That's really the central question. How? What is it that we're supposed to do? How do we, come from a place of we rather than me? How do we start to agree on this planet versus disagree constantly, or maybe at the best agree to disagree? How do we get to a place of we? Well, I think that, in the reading today from Kelly, it talked about knowing people as your friends, right? Knowing people, going out and knowing people. Rather than assuming, the opposite of that is to assume that the people who are around you that you don't know are the other. Right? A way of saying that is this. I couldn't find an author for it, but I've heard it 1,000 times. There are no strangers here, only friends you haven't yet met. If we were to start from that place, maybe that won't always hold up. But if we started from that place rather than the opposite of it, which is there are only strangers here, and there'll never be any, my friend. That's kind of the opposite that we start from. That's a tendency that we go out into the world with. So if we start with this idea of there are no strangers here, only friends I haven't met, what do I do? Well, I've talked about this a little bit before. On my trips out, I do a lot of walking with my dog, 5 mile, runs through the neighborhood, walks through the neighborhood. I don't run through the neighborhood, but walk through the neighborhood with the dog. And part of that is down at the park, the neighborhood park that's, about a half mile from my house. It's an easy walk down there. And especially on the weekends, it is packed. It's packed with people, teeming with people. People who are having cookouts and people who are having celebrations. And, yesterday when I was out at the park, there was at least 6 or 7 large groups of, 20 to 50 people in them that were down at the park. And, my dog, I'm a little bit biased about Ganesh. I think that he's the most handsome dog ever. And part of the reason I think that is because people yell at him all the time, "You're so cute!" And so when I'm there at the park with all those people, most of the people who come to my park are not from my neighborhood. It's called a neighborhood park, but it's owned by the city, right? It's owned by the people. It's owned by nobody. You don't have to show an ID where you live to get to this park. Everybody pays for it, so everybody is welcome. And so I take that attitude when I'm there. And the folks that are there, most of them, they don't look like me. They don't act like me. They don't listen to the same music as I do. And they tend to listen to their music very loudly, too. But it's okay. It's the park, right? And so when I'm at the park, I just walk and I smile. And when I'm at the park, I take my earphones out. I'm usually listening to music or a book or something. I take my earphones out so that I can interact with people. And when they say, you're such a cute dog. I smile at them and I engage with them. And my intention is to make them feel welcome. That they're in a place that belongs to them. So I had another experience. I wrote about this in the newsletter, so if you read it in the newsletter, you know kind of a little bit of what I'm going to say. But it was an experience in Mexico. So as I said, I just came back from Mexico. And while I was down there, Gabriel and I spent some time in Puebla, which is where his family lives. And we spent a few days in Mexico City also. And so in Mexico City on the last day, I was flying out of Mexico City. So we had gone back to Mexico City, and Gabriel's so sweet. You know, he brings me back to Mexico City and puts me on a plane like I'm a little kid, you know. And it's very nice, you know, it's just very, very sweet of him. But, you know, so we had gone back to Mexico City, taken the bus back to Mexico City, and we were staying at the Hotel Geneve, which was this beautiful hotel. And on that last morning, we got up a little bit late and we looked around. We had to be out of the hotel by 1 because I needed to be at the airport anyway. And we looked around and said, well, what are we going to do? And so we went to have breakfast and had a lovely breakfast. And then we decided to go for our last walk together in Mexico. And we were just walking, didn't want to go too far. So we walked down the main boulevard, and they've got this wide street with a park in the middle, and we got to one of the many traffic circles or roundabouts in Mexico City. And what they tend to have is they tend to have a bit of a park around the roundabout. And so we just sat there at a bench with a wide sidewalk in front of us and watched people go by. And you know, I'm a people watcher, so I was in heaven. And so we just chatted and watched the people go by, and eventually a married couple that ended up, stopped and said hi, and they just had heard us speaking English. And the man, the husband, was from England. And so, you know, he was like, oh, English, right? He came over and started talking. And we got into quite a conversation, you know, where we talked about where are we from, and, you know, how did we end up where we are? And Gabriel and I talked about being married and having 3 kids, adopting 3 kids, and all that type of stuff. And then all of a sudden, they dropped what would have been a bombshell 30 years ago for me. They said, oh, well, we're Jehovah's Witnesses. Now, the reason, you know, there is nothing wrong with being a Jehovah's Witness whatsoever. But having said that, I will say this also. 30 years ago, I had a number of run-ins with folks who were Jehovah's Witness who did not agree with me being gay. You know, and they thought that I was going to burn in hell and that I was a sinner and that I should not be gay in public whatsoever. Act gay, say I'm gay. If I'm going to do that, I should just hide it away. So 30 years ago, that statement would have probably turned me red. You know, in our beloved, creating the beloved community, we have colors. You know, we talk about being green, yellow, or red. Or orange is the middle, right? Green, yellow, orange, or red. And I would have been red right then and there. But not today. You know, not today, because to me now I'm more secure in who I am. I don't need other people to approve. And if they don't approve, that's okay, as long as they, you know, don't put it too much in my face. And so I just, you know, kind of kept the conversation going. We kept talking. They talked about how they were there to put on a peace conference. And an online peace conference. And they invited Gabriel and I to go to the peace conference. We exchanged. I told them I was a minister of a Center for Spiritual Living. I explained what we believe with Centers for Spiritual Living. And they didn't press on the gay issue. So we had a great conversation. And in the end, when we left, I gave him my card, he gave me his card. We agreed that we would look up each other's information, and go or not go from there. And that's what I'm talking about. From a place of we choose freedom. We get to come together from a place of not judging other people, not condemning other people, listening to what they have to say, giving them the freedom to do as they're going to do. Even if I disagree a bit, right? For the most part, conversation's just conversation. It doesn't really hurt anybody. For the most part. Sometimes it does, right? But this conversation wasn't hurting anyone. And so for us, what we did was we allowed ourselves to know that now that we had met, we were friends. And I think that that's really the way in the world. If we were to have civil discourse and conversations with people to understand and learn what they think and tell them what we think, we can agree to disagree about certain things. It's okay. But we can still be friends, I think. That's the way I want to live my life. So, be the change that you want to see in the world is absolutely true. We need to be that change that we want to see in the world. So if we want to see more freedom, we have to be freedom. If we want to see more peace, we have to be peace. If we want to see more harmony and love in the world, we have to be loving and harmonious out in the world. And so as we consider that and take that into the practice of how we are in the world outside, I think we'll have an additional impact. It's not just what we believe, it'll also be what we do. And so I have an affirmation for us today. It's showing up on the screen. If you'd like to read it along with me, it says, I am positively affecting the whole of life every day. Let's say that again. I am positively affecting the whole of life every day. And so as you go out into your world today, what I would suggest is be the change that you see in the world. And by doing that, sometimes we have multiple beliefs that we have a choice over. Do I want to believe this or this? And I love something that's taught in a financial freedom class, which is that when you have two different beliefs, you get to choose the belief that makes you more free. That's how you choose between those beliefs. Which of these two beliefs makes me more free? I think that's a wonderful concept. I use it in my life a lot. And then, work toward a world that works for everyone. We do that by allowing others to be free. Allow the other people. Don't constrain and restrain the other people around us, and then see strangers as if they were friends that you still need to meet. And, as always, if you're not quite sure how to do that, just let Spirit guide you. Thank you, and namaste. And so we'll anchor this in with a little prayer, knowing absolutely that this life that Spirit is, this life of the divine, this life that is all-encompassing and includes and is more than everything that we see and feel and hear in the universe. I know this one life that we call Spirit. I know it most absolutely as love and peace and joy, and I also know it as freedom, this underlying aspect of the divine that means that we are always free to choose, always, always, without constraint, without restraint. We are free to choose anew at any time, no matter what the choice has been in the past that we've made. We are always, always, always free to choose a new path, a new way of being, a new way of showing up in the world. And so as I know that's true of Spirit, I know it to be the truth of myself. I know it to be the truth of each and every one of us, that freedom reigns supreme as our lives, that we are freedom. It is all the way through us, in, as, and through every cell and every fiber of our being. That at the very core of us, Spirit treats us all the same by just saying yes. And so we are free to live the life of our dreams. We are free to live the life that's not so much of our dreams, if we so choose, because that's what freedom entails, is the freedom to make a mistake and to recover, the freedom to expand farther than we have ever seen ourselves expanding, the freedom to be in who we are at the very core of our being, and to express that completely and fully in the world. And so it's from that place of knowing this that I speak my word as the truth of each and every one of us today, knowing that that freedom reigns supreme in our life, that we are free at the very core of our being, and that that's reflected with ease and with grace back into our lives. And I know as we align ourselves with that freedom, that we let other people be free. We get rid of the boxes that we want them to be in. We get rid of the chains and the constraints that we put on other people. We allow them to be free as the individual that they are, knowing absolutely that there is a path forward that Spirit knows and guides us along, where we are all free in our own way, and yet we are all well taken care of. That the highest and best is known for each and every one of us. And for knowing this truth today, I just give thanks. And I release this prayer to the law, knowing that it's already fulfilled in the mind that God is. And I say life and God are good and very good. And together we say, and so it is. Amen and amen. And so now is the time for our conscious contributions. And so for those of you who are here in the sanctuary, there is a offering envelope in the pews. And so you can put that offering in your envelope, and we have, it looks like Sandra and Dorothy are coming around with the baskets for you to put your offering in. If you're online, there are many of you, I'm sure, have already done your donation. But if you haven't yet, there are 3 ways to do it. One way is to go to ahiah.com/donate. Another is to text give at 616-229-2225. And a third way is to send a check in to Ahiah at 150 North El Molino Avenue, Pasadena, California, 91101. However you do that, just know that your offering is a blessing to us as a community, knowing that it goes to support all the activities that we have, not just here on Sunday with the Sunday Celebration and our youth program and our teens up in Oregon today, but also all the things that we do throughout the week. And so, however you've given, let's take that gift or that thought of a gift and put it to our hearts. I have the blessing here on the screen. Why don't you go ahead and read it along with me? This gift I give is God in action. I send it forth with joy, confidence, and ease. I am blessed by the law of giving and receiving as I now share my gift with life. Pressed down, shaken together, and running over. And so it is. Amen and amen. And so now I'd like to go ahead and ask Connie to come on up, and they're going to sing us another song.
All right, I guess we're going to do a song about the freedom to be, whoever you are.
This ain't coming from no prophet, just an ordinary woman. When I close my eyes, I see the way this world shall be when we walk hand in hand. When the last child cries for a crust of bread, when the last man dies for just words that he said, when there's shelter over the poorest head, we shall be free. When the last thing we notice is the color of skin, and the first thing we look for is the beauty within, when the skies and the ocean are clean again, we shall be free. We shall be free. We shall be free. Stand straight, walk proud. We shall be free. When we're free to love anyone we choose, when this world's big enough for all different views, when we're all free to worship from our own kind of pew, then we shall be free. We shall be free. Yeah. We shall be free. Have a little faith, hold out. We shall be free. And when money talks for the very last time, and nobody walks a step behind, when there's only one race, and that's mankind, we shall be free. Hey, yeah, we shall be free. Hear what I'm saying? We shall be free. Stand straight, walk proud. We shall be free. Hey, yeah, we shall be free. We shall be free. Stand straight, walk proud. We shall be free.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, Connie. Thank you, Karen. So now I'd like to go ahead and ask Mr. Malachi to come on up. Lisa is at camp. We are blessed to have Malachi.
Thank you for that. That was wonderful. Just wanted to give everybody an update about our campers. They're having the time of their lives. We have Naama, Perry, and Phoebe, and they have 3 more days left. Be flying out on Wednesday, and so I just want to let everybody know that we're holding them in our hearts, and that they're just so thankful that you guys can make that happen for them to go to camp, and so it just means a lot. So thank you guys. Oh, you have a question? They're in Oregon. Do you know? I'm not there, so.
I can't remember the name.
Yeah, somewhere in Oregon.
Portland area.
So thank you guys again, and have a nice Sunday.
All right. So now we have an announcement from Nancy Johnson.
Good morning, Ahiah family.
Let me wait on that one.
Reminder about
You got that one?
our
Okay.
back-to-school drive with Friends Indeed. The children are... Good morning, Ahiah family. This is Nancy Johnson with a reminder about our back-to-school drive with Friends Indeed. The children in our community need our generous help. Last year, Friends Indeed gave out over 300 backpacks with school supplies, and they expect even more need this year. Please look for a follow-up email with a detailed list of supplies needed. The final day for supplies or cash donations is Sunday, July 17th. Please consider picking up some school supplies or donating cash online at ahiah.com, and I will purchase school supplies for you. Any help is greatly appreciated.
So we'll just give that a second for the online folks to catch up. Yep. Okay. And so I also want to let you guys know that we have our women's circle is meeting this Friday on Zoom. You can go to ahiah.com/virtual in order to get the Zoom link, like always. And it's going to be presented by Lisa Ortiz and Patricia Roach, and their topic is independence and citizenship is the theme for this week. And they're going to be sharing a quote from James Earl Jones and discussing it, and then they're going to be talking about some other deepening questions. So, everyone is welcome. Love to have you there for all the women at Ahiah and beyond. And then not this Monday, not tomorrow, but a week from Monday on the 18th of July is our next installment of Creating the Beloved Community. And this is, I think, our 20th installment now. And so, we've been going strong. We've been doing a lot of work in there. I so appreciate the people who have been coming to that. And if you haven't been coming, it's not too late. It's a new thing every time. So just come on in and join us. We would love to have your energy as we learn how to create the beloved community together. And then for our white folks, so this is a workshop that's meant to help and to hold and to guide and for us to come together as a white folks community here at Ahiah to help us to move past the things that we were taught as children and to move into a place of knowing the freedom for everyone more fully in our lives. And so it's called white resiliency because that to me is the opposite of white fragility. White fragility is something that Robin DiAngelo has put out there. She wrote a book called White Fragility that's about how, as white people, we are taught racism from the spoon, from that spoon from mother's milk is another way of saying it. So this is a way for us to learn and be supported and to support each other as we move beyond what we were taught into a new way of being and being more free in our lives. And we are being lovingly supported by Reverend Jane Midgley, who's from the Albuquerque Center for Spiritual Living. So I'm loving working with her on this, and she'll be back again. And then my ordination is coming, so I've talked about that before, but just remember, put it on your calendar. I would love to have everybody, all of our Ahiah people there. It is on September 24th at 1 p.m. right here. And the Hollywood Bowl tickets, people have been buying them like hotcakes lately. We've got, I think, 22 tickets sold right now, and Barbara told me that she went out and got another 20. So she had 20, she got another 20, so we got plenty for us to buy. If you're interested, it is August 28th, and it's $48 for that, and that includes shuttle fare to the stadium from Pasadena. And then in September, we'll have a ball game that we've talked about before. And so I just want to remind you that we have some wonderful practitioners. With the practitioners who are here today, our Ahiah practitioners, be willing to stand. And so we've got Frederick, we've got Kelly, we have Myrna back there in the back. Must be Jackie. I can't see who else. It's Marcia. Okay. And Chris here. So we got lots and lots of practitioners here today for you to choose from. If there's anything heavy on your heart or mind you would like to have a little prayer about, or from the opposite end of the spectrum, if there is something that you're just so grateful for, you want to kind of anchor that in, it's a good time for prayer. 3 to 5 minute miracle prayer performed right here. If you want to talk to our practitioners about maybe having a counseling session outside, you can go to ahiah.com/meetourpractitioners to get their contact information. We also have Ministry of Prayer online. You can go to ahiah.com/prayers. And those prayers, when you put that in, it is only ever seen by the ministers and practitioners here at Ahiah. We also have a weekly dial-up prayer, which I find lovely. You know, it's a reading, it's a prayer. And so if I'm not feeling particularly up at the moment, it's something that I call into, listen to, and it always brings me back to center. So with that said, love to just do our benediction. It's showing up on our screen. Would you join me in the benediction? Something wonderful is happening through me right now. It is this thing called life. Life is in my mind. Life is in my body. Life is in all of my affairs. I accept it. I am it, and I share it. Just the way it appears and just the way it appears not. Thank you, life. Amen and amen. And so, it's been a lovely time with you guys. Lots of love, lots of wonderful music, and great energy today. So I want to say thank you to that. We will be having fellowship on Zoom after this. If you're dialed into YouTube, just go to Zoom, and I'll dial in there in just a few minutes and join you as I go out into the courtyard. I'll see you. If I don't see you now, I'll see you next week. And so I just want to say thank you and namaste.